Hi there. Today we're exposing the biggest reasons R&D tax claims get rejected in 2026. The AIF is now crucial, and one mistake can cost you thousands. Watch this before filing.
Welcome. The expert tax advisors of ProTax Accountant have put together this essential briefing to help you get to grips with the huge changes to R&D tax relief here in the UK. So if you're an innovative British business, maybe you're developing software in London or pioneering new engineering up in Sheffield, what we're about to cover is absolutely crucial for your funding in 2026. Let's get right to it.
Right, first up, a pretty shocking number to set the scene. Since the peak just a few years back, the number of companies successfully claiming R&D tax relief has plummeted by nearly half. Now, this isn't just a small dip, it's a massive shift that's catching thousands of genuine innovators completely off guard. The big question is, why is a scheme that's supposed to fuel British innovation suddenly grinding to a halt for so many?
Well, that's exactly what we're here to unpack. The team at ProTax Accountant has seen this firsthand, analyzing countless claims and inquiries to put this guide together. We're going to break down the new hurdles HMRC has put in place, and more importantly, give you a clear, practical roadmap to make sure your hard work gets the financial boost it truly deserves.
So here's what we've got lined up. First, we'll look at the big picture, the R&D shakeup. Then, we'll zero in on the new mandatory form that's causing most of the trouble. After that, we'll run through the top reasons claims are being flat out rejected. Then we'll give you a practical checklist to build a bulletproof claim. And finally, we'll talk about when it makes sense to bring in an expert.
Okay, so let's start with the R&D shakeup. The big problem right now is this. A scheme specifically designed to encourage innovation is becoming so complicated and intimidating that it's actively putting off the very businesses it was created to help in the first place.
And honestly, this quote just hits the nail on the head. A very large sledgehammer to crack a relatively small nut. Look, HMRC wanted to clamp down on fraud, and that's fair enough. But the way they've gone about it has been so heavy-handed that it's created a much tougher, more bureaucratic, and frankly, a more hostile environment for everyone.
And this chart just shows you the real-world impact of that. We've gone from 86,000 companies claiming back in 2021 to just over 44,000. That's not just weeding out a few dodgy claims. That's a huge number of legitimate businesses, from software startups in Birmingham to advanced manufacturing firms in Manchester, either getting rejected or just giving up because the whole process has become too painful.
Now, the main culprit for this drop really comes down to one thing: a new digital gatekeeper called the Additional Information Form, or AIF. You have to know about this. This mandatory form is where thousands of claims are failing, often before a human has even looked at the tech. It is the #1 reason for those incomplete form rejections we're seeing.
So what is it? Here's where a lot of people get tripped up. Think of the AIF like a passport application for your R&D claim. It's this detailed online form where you have to lay out your projects, your technical challenges, and all the costs, and it must be submitted to HMRC before your tax return. It has to be perfect. One mistake, one missing detail, and just like a dodgy passport photo, the whole thing gets sent back. Your claim is dead on arrival.
So listen, this is the crucial point. This submission order is absolutely non-negotiable. The IAF must go in first, then your tax return, the CT600. Even if you file them on the same day, the IAF has to be submitted just moments before. Getting this wrong leads to an automatic, system-driven rejection. This catches so many people out because it's such a simple mistake with huge financial consequences, and HMRC gives absolutely no leeway on this, none.
Now stay with me. This next point affects pretty much every small business. To handle this new system, HMRC has hired thousands of new compliance officers. And word is, many of them get just 13 weeks of training before they start assessing incredibly complex technical claims in fields like biotech or machine learning. What does that mean for you? It means they rely on checklists. It means your AIF has to be exceptionally clear, precise, and easy for a non-expert to follow. There is just no room for gray areas anymore.
All right, so this brings us to the really frustrating part. The common mistakes that can get your entire claim thrown out. Let's look at the top rejection triggers that the experts at ProTax Accountants see time and time again so you can avoid them.
First up, weak project descriptions. HMRC does not want marketing fluff. Vague terms like cutting edge or bespoke platform are instant red flags for them. You have to be specific and technical. Just look at the good example. It quantifies the advance, a 52% improvement. It identifies the specific scientific uncertainty. That is the level of cold, hard, factual detail they now demand.
The second big trigger is unrealistic staff costs.
HMRC is incredibly skeptical of any claim that says an employee spent 100% of their time purely on R&D. We all know that's not how it works. People answer emails, go to meetings, do admin. You must provide a reasonable, evidence-based split of their time. And crucially, you need proof. Time tracking data from systems like Jira or even detailed timesheets are pretty much essential now for a defensible claim.
And number 3, financial inconsistencies. This is where your attention to detail has to be spot on. If the costs you list in the AIF don't match the figures in your company tax return to the penny, HMRC might just reject the entire claim. A small difference of, say, £100 isn't about the money. For them, it's a massive red flag. It signals poor financial control, and it just erodes their trust in all of your numbers instantly.
Okay, so we've seen the problems, the minefield is pretty clear. Let's switch gears now and focus on the solutions. Here's a clear, step-by-step guide on how to prepare a compliant claim that can actually stand up to HMRC's intense new level of scrutiny. So, how do you actually get it right? How do you build a claim that doesn't fall into one of these traps and actually sails through the system? You'll definitely want to hear this part. First, let's make this simple. You need to know exactly how many projects to describe in the AIF. If you've got 3 or fewer projects, easy, you describe all of them. If you have between 4 and 10, you need to describe at least 3, but those 3 must add up to at least half of your total R&D spend. And for more than 10 projects, you just need to describe the projects that cover at least 50% of your costs, with a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 10 descriptions. Knowing these rules is the absolute first step. Right, here is your essential checklist. 1. Submit the AIF before the CT 600. We can't say that enough. 2. Use your company's own government gateway ID, not your agent's personal one. 3. Write those clear technical project narratives we talked about. 4. Triple check your financials match to the penny. 5. Make sure you can trace every single pound back to an invoice or a payroll record. 6. Always save a PDF copy of your submission and the reference number as proof. And 7. Don't forget the separate claim notification form if it's your first time claiming or you've had a gap.
And here is a pro tip from the team at ProTax Accountant. Get the competent professional in your business, your senior developer, your lead engineer, your head of science, to personally review and sign off on the technical descriptions. Their involvement is so important because it proves to HMRC that the claim is being driven by real technical expertise, not just by the finance department. It adds a huge amount of credibility.
Now, while this checklist is a brilliant start, there are times when going it alone carries a pretty significant risk. So this brings us to our final section. Knowing when calling an expert isn't giving up, but is actually a really smart strategic business move. You should really think about getting specialist help if any of these sound familiar. If it's your very first claim, because the rules have changed so much. If your projects are highly complex or involve tricky areas like overseas costs. If you just don't have the time or the technical writing skills in-house. And critically, if you've already received a compliance check letter from HMRC. That's a red alert. That is the time to stop everything and get professional help immediately.
And of course, a quick and very important disclaimer, this information is for general guidance only and is current as of early 2026. It is absolutely not a substitute for professional tax advice tailored to your specific business. We always recommend you consult with an expert before you take any action.
So, to make sure your claim is compliant, robust, and ultimately successful, the best next step is to speak with a specialist. The team at ProTax Accountant are ready to help you secure the relief your innovation deserves. You can reach them directly on WhatsApp or by phone at 07985 689912, or you can drop them an email at info@protaxaccountant.co.uk. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more essential business updates just like this one.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. In this new era of intense scrutiny, is your current R&D claim process really robust enough to pass the test? It's a crucial question that every innovative business in the UK needs to be asking itself right now.